This episode of Talkin' About Rock is sponsored by Unleashed Music. Drawing on years of experience, contacts, and partnerships, Unleashed Music is uniquely positioned to platform, develop, and realize the vision of artists of all genres. Achieve your goals by partnering with Unleashed Music and take advantage of their decades of experience to help you create and execute your marketing campaign. Visit unleashedmusic.com for more info.
On this episode, former Trixter vocalist Pete Loran. Talk About Rock, sponsored by School of Rock, North Buffalo, where they're making musicians every day. Hello and welcome to this episode of Talking About Rock. I'm Rob Edwards. Here we bring you rock interviews from veteran and upcoming artists. Subscribe on our YouTube channel to stay up to date and follow us on our social media and our website, talkingaboutrock.com. Today we have returning to chat with us, multi-platinum award-winning singer-songwriter Pete Loran. Hello, Pete. How's it going?
Doing good, Rob, man. How you been, man?
Doing well, man. Doing well. So, what have you been up to? Did you catch the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremony thing going on? Did you catch any of that?
You know, I didn't catch it. I know a lot of acts and whatnot got in there that should have been in there forever ago, and I read a couple things about, if Foreigner would have been inducted earlier, Mick Jones could have been there, and I really got to catch up on it. But man, they just take forever to bring these guys in. It's like, what were they waiting for?
Right. That's what all the fans are always talking about, right? There's all these bands that are definitely so worthy of it, right? And then by the time they're in there, they're like, these guys are like 70 years old or something. It's like, come on, really?
It's crazy. Who else got in? It was Foreigner, right? It was
Foreigner, Ozzy, Peter Frampton,
right.
All people that should have been there a while ago, and then
a
of course
long time ago, yeah.
And then of course the list of fans start dropping all these other names of bands that are deserving. So we hope we see, some of these start to get in more and more.
Right. Well, I think Ozzy was already in there with Sabbath. So, yeah. I mean, it's like, why wouldn't he have been there as a solo artist? And then Frampton, my God, right. That guy should have been in there forever ago.
Exactly. Changed the game with his live album. People started looking up and say, oh, we need a live album now, guys,
Yeah, I think that's still like the best selling live album of all time, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, definitely a game changer, but yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So just strange, just some weird stuff going on with that. For
sure. I didn't watch it, but I'll probably see if I can check it out.
Yeah. So we'll see what's going on with that. And I don't know if you caught too, the new Alex Van Halen book out, Brothers, right? Got dropped out yesterday.
I want to check that out. I think they said you can listen to it on Spotify. Is that right?
Yeah, I just read it and I just listened to a little bit of on Spotify. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah.
Were you a big Halen fan back in the day?
I was, until the split, right? And it kind of you really kind of didn't know what to do at first, because people, Van Halen fans, we weren't used to having Sammy. Like, Sammy's going to be in the band? What's this?
Right. Yeah. It's a couple of buddies of mine were at that. He is doing these book signings.
Yeah.
So you buy the book and then you get in to meet him, get a picture with him. And my buddies back in New Jersey were there just the other night with him. Guy looks great. Seems like he's happy. I know he's sold off like tons of his drum equipment and stuff.
Right.
And he's done a couple of interviews. I heard somebody talking about it where, they're talking about different parts of, Van Halen's history. And he's like, yeah, he's basically saying like, the Dave part of the history is the real history, which I agree too. And he goes, and then we had some other singers. That was kind of interesting because it's like, really? I mean, we're pretty popular with Sammy in there. They sold a lot of records, and just to refer to him as one of the other singers must be some bad blood there, huh?
There's definitely got to be. He got he seemed, very very real and didn't hold back. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's I think what the good part of it was. Just say what you're feeling at this point. But yeah, he didn't say anything about Sammy. He said a couple words about Mike Anthony, but not a lot.
Oh, weird.
But it is what it is. He quoted a lot of past interviews that folks had done with Van Halen, and they always say, they didn't like to do interviews. They didn't do very many at all.
That's true. That's true.
They kind of just let Dave run his mouth and kind of go with it, and then they just
kind of wind him. You kind of wind him up and let him go. He's still that way.
Yeah, he's just the showman.
I've never seen a guy be able to just channel whatever he's going to say without blinking, without breathing, and it just keeps coming out. And it's like crazy stuff you've never heard before. And it's funny, it's entertaining, but wow, he's an interesting cat.
He is, and he still seems to be that way with some of the bits and pieces of stuff he releases. But yeah, just crazy stuff. But a good read, yeah. Get a chance to check that out. Very cool.
Oh, I'm definitely going to check it out. Yeah.
But we're here to talk about actually your new single, your release you got out here, Save Me. So I think this has been kicking around for a little while, this song, right?
Yeah, the song wasn't intentionally, like, hey, let's sit down and write a song. What I used to do at my old house is I would always have these barbecue/pool parties, and I would have all my buddies over. And, a good amount of those guys were musicians. So I had a jam room set up with a full drum kit, a PA, a bass rig, 2 guitar rigs, and we would go in there and jam. It ended up always being usually the same 4 guys at 2 a.m. It would be me, Mark Scott. Everyone knows Mark Scott from Trixter, drummer. My buddy Jordan Ziff, who did a big run with Rat not too long ago. Did a bunch of runs with Marty Friedman. And then another good friend of ours, this guy, Jacob Goldberg, who actually was in a band with Jordan called Age of Evil way back in 2000s, I think. They had some original stuff and did some festivals. But anyway, the 4 of us would always end up getting together and just jamming. And we never sat down and said, hey, I'm going to play in this key and I'm going to make a change to here and whatnot. Just guy started playing something on guitar. Other guy watched, came in, so-and-so. And then more times than not, I would stick my phone in the back of the room and just record what we were doing, because more times than not, I was like, oh, that was really cool. What did we do there? I forgot.
Yeah, do that again.
Right. So we actually have several ideas like that, but this particular one, Jordan went home with it and kind of mapped it out a little bit and put it together. And then I'm like, this is good enough to record, guys. We should really put this thing down. So we did real drums, which is pretty rare these days. Did real drums at a guy's house in east side of Arizona here. And then Jordan did all the guitars at his place. Bass was done at his place. And then we did all the vocals at my place. And then that was probably 2018, 19. Sent it to our buddy Chuck Alkazian, who a lot of people know in the music business. Got a really killer studio. Does a lot of mixing. And he mixed it and we had it mastered. And I'm like, okay, great. What am I doing with this? And I just kind of put it away. Until recently, because of the song I released in May, Around Again, I got a lot of really good response from it. And I was pretty surprised. I put it out not having any expectations and got a lot of great response. I'm like, well, shoot, I might as well go ahead and release Save Me. I've got it done. So went and put it out there a couple weeks ago, and it's getting a lot of great response. I think this song is more of what like my old fans would have expected from me, more rock, bluesy, kind of slinky, and it's doing great. We're real proud of it.
Yeah, definitely more of a rocker track than the previous one for sure. Yeah, really, really like. So let's take a quick break and we'll check out the new track Save Me here from Pete Loran. And we'll be right back here on Talking About Rock.
can't see me now. Head in the sky, head down low. Earth beneath me will bring me home. It's all I want. It consumes me from deep inside, and it won't let me go. Drowning, sinking, save me, save me. Myself drowning, sinking down, and you can't save me now. Come on, sing it now. Embrace the darkness as it closed around me. Out of the prisoner that I can't stop falling Better save me, drowning, sinking down, but you can't save me drowning, sinking. Drowning, sinking down, and you can't stop me now. Save me, save. Don't you let me down, let me down. Don't you let me drown, let me drown. Save me.
Okay, we're back here on Talking About Rock with Pete Loran. Man, great tune, great rockin' tune, like you said, getting a lot
Yeah,
of
appreciate it, man. Yeah.
good feedback with that. And like you were saying, you got Mark Scott here playing drums back with you again. Kind of cool, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, whenever we would do those jams I was talking about, it was 9 times out of 10 it was him playing drums. So yeah, it was good, man. I'm glad that he's a great drummer. I mean, he's just solid, and I'm glad that we got to put something out there like together, which is really cool. And in my opinion, I'm sure he thinks the same thing, or maybe he doesn't. I don't know, but yeah, it's good, man. I'm glad. I'm happy it's getting well received.
Yeah, definitely well received. And the last time we chatted, there were some rumblings. Maybe there's going to be a Trixter reunion in the works or something that really didn't ever seem to happen or anything going on with that at all.
I don't know anything about that. I mean, there's 3 guys that can be in the same room together, and then there's the one guy that's not allowed in the room, I guess, or doesn't even want to come in the room. Let's put it that way.
Gotcha.
But I don't know if honestly, I don't know if that gets fixed or not. I'm not gonna push it either way. I mean, these guys are all adults. They're gonna do what's gonna make them happy, and that's it. I mean, would it be great for the fans and the fan base, like for at least those guys to bury the hatchet, so to speak, and maybe not ever play again. I don't see that happening, but at least be cordial towards each other. Again, me with Steve and PJ, we're good. They were here in March, and I jumped up and jammed with them, did a few songs, was great. I would definitely do that again if it happens, it happens. Be great if it happened with Gus. I think people would lose their minds, but I don't know. I just I don't think it's going to.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. Yeah, sometimes those kind of things happen in bands, right? Some of the people they don't get along, or you can't really work with anybody anymore, or they have to
Right.
have separate dressing rooms, or they just get along on stage. They have those kind of things happen. When I was talking to Steve a while back, he said he originally had approached you and said, you need to join my band. You weren't singing way back then, right? That wasn't a thing for you. Is that true?
That's true. That is very true. Yeah, I had talked to him once and heard him playing guitar in the background, and I knew I think he was like 12 at that time, and I was 17 or something. And I'm like, wow, man, what are you listening to? He's like, oh, I'm playing guitar. I'm like, ha, all right, come on, kid. What are you listening to? And he's like, no, seriously. I'm like, okay, we'll play. I forgot what I told him to play. Probably like Ain't Talking About Love or something. And he played it. So it really interested me because I was like, this kid's really good. He's like, yeah, you should come over and check out, my gear or whatever. So I ended up actually going over to his parents' house, and I was pretty floored how good he was for his age, and he was a little dude too. So that he had this great big guitar, and he's like, I go, so what are you doing with this stuff? He's like, oh, I got a band. I go, well, who's in it? He's like, well, pretty much just me, and I think I have another guy who's going to play the bass. He's like, why, you want to be in the band? And I'm like, I don't play anything. I don't do anything. He's like, all right, well, how about you be the singer? I'm like, I've never, okay, why not? So kind of kind of went like that. Yeah, it's funny because with Steve, he was so good at that age, and he was like a little tiny guy. Me and my one buddy, we would driving at that time, we would always drive him over to the local music store. Used to be, I don't know how many of them are left, Sam Ash, and
Oh yeah.
we would bring him in there, and then we would let him set up, plug into an amp, and just start ripping. And we would always just kind of step back and just watch people like walk around and see who was playing, and see like this little kid playing, and there would be like totally in shock, and we would get a laugh of that. We do it every weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
that's a great gig, man, just to see
Yeah.
that and people just to go to the store and see him. That's
Yeah,
that's
they were
cool.
floored, like that kid's playing that.
Right,
Pretty much
right, yeah.
like how I was when I first saw him play. I was like, what's happening?
Yeah, he just seems when I spoke to him, he just said, he was just always very driven. He's like, I was gonna do this, no matter what it take, what it took to do it. And I saw Pete, he was a good looking dude. It's like this dude needs to be in my band. He needs to be singing,
Yeah,
we need a good looking
yeah,
singer.
yeah. He's still that way. He has not changed.
Very cool. So what else have you been up to? You got some new music coming out, but what else is going on?
Right now, I was just focusing on getting Save Me out there. Along with the video, there's a video for Save Me on YouTube. Um, I actually shot that all myself with my phone. That's my girlfriend in the video, and lyrically, the song "Save Me" it's all, well, it's about Chris Cornell. And what happened was, when we got the song done, I had sat down to start coming up with melodies and lyrics, and it was right when that whole thing happened with Chris Cornell. And it hit me a lot harder than I expected it to. I don't know why. I just got really kind of sucked into it. Had a couple of buddies that actually were working for Soundgarden at that time, and I reached out to my one buddy he was the stage manager, and I go, was there anything different? Was there like, did anybody see this coming? He's like, dude, no. He's like, I did what I do every night. Set ended, walked him down the stairs, put him in his limo, sent him to the hotel. See you tomorrow. Everything was business as usual.
Right.
So that to me was just like, oh my God, how could this happen? Then he was on the phone with his wife, you know, right before it happened. I mean, this guy's a father, he's got kids, seemed like a good guy, seemed like a good dad. And it just really, it really affected me a lot more than I expected to. So all of a sudden, just started coming up with these lyrics. So really that song's about him. Um, and it's a rocker, but lyrically it's dark, but it's a dark subject, depression and suicide. And I didn't want to get into that in the video. I wanted to keep the video lighthearted. So what it is basically it's my girlfriend got a song that she loves and she's dancing around her house and she's lip syncing and she's singing into the brush and air guitaring. So that's how we came up with that. And actually, the video is doing real well. It's got a whole bunch of views on my YouTube channel. So if you guys got a chance, go check it out.
Yeah, yeah, very cool. Yeah, we played that earlier, so they'll definitely get a chance to at least watch it on our show. But yeah, go check it out on Pete's YouTube channel also.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
very, very, very cool tune. Do you have any more tracks maybe, waiting in the wings there? I'm sure you have stuff that you've probably sat on
Right.
besides this for a while, right?
That's right. Not there. I don't have anything um, completely finished, but there are several things and there's several new things. So I'm gonna keep pushing them out there as long as everybody is cool listening to them. I'll keep pushing them out there. In this day and age, which is great, is that we don't have to go into these real studios with these giant overheads and spend $500 an hour to record songs anymore. We have the luxury of technology. As a matter of fact, I just bought a new computer. I'm waiting for it. But to be able to just sit there and come up with ideas and record everything in confines of your own home or your home studio, whatever it is, it's awesome. And also you have the luxury of not being under pressure and having to get it done right away. So kind of makes me a little bit lazy sometimes, but I've got some pretty cool ideas, and hopefully sooner than later we're going to get them out there.
Excellent, excellent. I hope you turn that all into a nice package for everyone. It'll be something cool, maybe an EP, maybe an album. Who knows what else can happen with that? And
Right.
and, and
I was thinking of once I do get maybe a couple more out, or maybe sooner than that, maybe doing like double-sided vinyl, or CD, and just a couple of different things like that. I'm hearing people would be interested in that stuff, so I think that's something I might end up doing.
yeah, and they're playing this on Sirius Radio, I think, for you also. I think I've
Yeah, as
heard
a
that
matter
on
of
there too.
yeah, yep. Eddie Trunk played it on Hair Nation Monday, and he didn't even tell me he was going to play it. Um, he had asked me to send him the wave file of the track, and sure enough, he played it, and that's always a good thing. So
Oh yeah,
that gave it a nice bump, and I always appreciate stuff like that.
yeah, definitely very, very cool. I'm sure we're gonna catch it a lot because it's a very cool track. Definitely. So yeah, we look forward to definitely more from that for you. So thank you so much for coming back with us and catching us up. I really appreciate it, man.
Hey man, I appreciate you having me. And when the next song comes out, I'm going to be knocking on your door again.
Alrighty, man. Sounds good. Well, thank you everyone for tuning into this episode of Talking About Rock. I want to thank our sponsors, School of Rock North Buffalo and Unleash Music, and our guest today, of course, Pete Loran. Pete, thanks so much, man.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it, man.